Good morning, viewers and listeners of Concerned Citizens Media. Thank you again for joining me. Today is January 31st, 2023. So I have several news to share with you. I will start with the statement released by Ethiopia government on the withdrawal of Eritrean troops, which is a lie, a misleading statement by Ethiopian government. Uh, this claim is thrown out or rejected by U.S. Ambassador at United Nations, Ambassador Linda Thomas, rejected this statement, this Ethiopian claim, uh, in a very short statement. I have it, so I will first read Ethiopia's claim, then I will play Ambassador Linda Thomas' statement on this claim. So, Prosperity Party, whether from the military or from civilian, they don't care, they lie, because there is no accountability. There's no accountability. Nobody can account the Prime Minister what he said uh, to Ethiopians or to the global community. That's why we keep witnessing this misleading statement and lies from these Prosperity Party officials. Let me read. This is thanks to Addis-Standard. I have several news update from Addis-Standard. At least the following 4 reports are from Addis-Standard. So it says no other security forces in Tigray except federal army, tells military attaché, AU representatives, and other diplomats. So this is a military attaché telling international diplomats, AU representatives, this big lie. This is a lie or misleading. They don't care. They don't care. We have been witnessing such thing since Abiy came to power. There is no other security forces in the Tigray region apart from the Federal Defense Forces, said Major General Teshome Gemachu, Directorate General of Defense Foreign Relations and the Military Cooperation of the Ethiopian National Defense Force, ENDF. Major General Teshome said this while briefing military attaches for various countries based in Addis Ababa, representatives of the African Union, leaders from the Red Cross Society, and the representatives of other international organizations on the implementation of the peace agreement, according to the Ethiopian National Defense Force. So these are dignitaries, representatives of AU and other countries and other organizations. They are openly, misled by Ethiopian government. The army quoted Major General Teshome as saying that the opportunities created after the signing of the Pretoria Peace Agreement has made breathing the air of peace possible, not only for Ethiopia, but also for the countries in the wide region. He also said there were many encouraged steps taken to implement the agreement, including visits by government officials, opening up and services in the Tigray region, ENDF said, crediting the government for 78% of daily humanitarian supplies and asking the international community to strengthen their support. Efforts are being made to resolve minor problems through dialogue in order to implement the peace agreement, the Major General told the participants on the briefing. It is to be recalled that the African Union Monitoring, Verification and Compliance Mechanisms, AUMVCM, that was officially launched in Mekelle, the capital city of Tigray region state, on Thursday, 29 December, and appointed Major General Stephen Radina of Kenya to lead the team. The MVCM team has since only confirmed the launch of the disarmament process of Tigrayan combatant and the Tigrayan forces, handing over of heavy weapons to the Ethiopian National Defense Forces, which took place on Tuesday, 10 January. It has not issued any other statement, especially on the withdrawal of foreign and non-ENDF forces from the region, which was stipulated to have happened concurrently with the disarmament of heavy weapons, according to the executive declaration of the modalities for the implementation of the Pretoria Agreement, which was signed in Nairobi on 12 November 2022. So this is a misleading statement. It's as I said, to representatives of African Union, diplomats representing different countries, and the Red Cross Society, so many dignitaries without any shame. I don't know why these people are adapting this kind of strategy. It's shameful, really. So let's listen what Linda Thomas, U.S. ambassador to UN, saying about these Ethiopian claims. Getachew Radda, TPLF senior official, also rejected this Ethiopia's claim. There are still forces from Amara region and Eritreans in Tigray. They didn't completely out of Tigray. They are still there. Let's listen to her and continue with the other news.
Ready? Are you guys ready? Good afternoon, everyone. We have been consistent in our call for foreign troops to name Eritrea to leave Ethiopia. We understand that they have moved back to the border and that they've been asked to leave Ethiopia. And I think that's important if this ceasefire is to hold and humanitarian assistance is allowed to continue to flow.
Which also has probably quite big impacts on migration.
That's the confirmation that Eritreans are still in the Tigray region. And also, but she didn't say about the Amara forces. They are still there. And the next video is about
በዴንቨር ከተማ ከንቲባ ሚካኤል ቢልሃንኮክ የተመራው የዴንቨር ከተማ ልዑክ ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ገብቷል። ልዑኩ በአዲስ አበባ ከተማ ከንቲባ አዳነች አቤቤ በተመራ የካቢኔ አባላትና በተለያዩ የመንግስት የስራ ኃላፊዎች ደማቅ አቀባበል ተደርጎለታል። አቀባበሉን ያደረጉት የአዲስ አበባ ከተማ ከንቲባ አዳነች አቤቤ የእንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ መልእክት አስተላልፈው በከተማዋ በሚኖራቸው ቆይታ አብሮ ለመስራት የሚያስችላቸው ጉዳዮች ላይ
እንደሚመክሩ
በከተማችን በሚኖራችሁ ቆይታ የህዝቡን የመልካም እንግዳ አቀባበል ትመለከታላችሁ። ጉብኝታችሁ በቀጣይ አብረን መስራት በመንችላቸው ጉዳዮች ላይ መልካም እይታ እንደሚፈጥርና በከተማችን ላይ ባሉ የኢንቨስትመንት የኢኮኖሚና የህዝቦች ትስስር እንደሚያጠናክር አምናለሁ።
And community engagement.
የዴንቨር ከተማ ከንቲባ ሚካኤል ቢሃንኮክ በበኩላቸው የአዲስ አበባ ከተማ አስተዳደር ለልዑካቸው ባደረገው አቀባበል መደሰታቸውን ገልጸው የሁለቱን ሀገራት ግንኙነት የሚያጠናክሩ ስራዎችን እንደሚሰሩ ተናግረዋል።
ልዑኩ እዚህ የመጣው በሁለት ዋና ምክንያቶች ነው። የኢትዮጵያ አየር መንገድ ከዴኒቨር አዲስ አበባ ቀጥታ በረራ በመጀመሩና የሁለቱ ሀገራት አብሮ መስራት ለማጠናከር ነው። ይህ ለእኛ ትልቅ እድል ነው። ዴኒቨርን ከዋና የዓለም አቀፍ መዳረሻዎች ጋር ማገናኘት እኛም አዲስ አበባ የአፍሪካ መዳረሻ ትልቅ ከተማ እንደሆነች እናምናለን።
One is direct flight from Denver to Addis Ababa,
ከተማ ከ27 ከተሞች ጋር በተለያዩ ጉዳዮች በጋራ ለመስራት መስማማቱን
engagement
ያስታወሱት የአዲስ አበባ ከንቲባ የኢትዮጵያ አየር መንገድ ከዴንቨር አዲስ አበባ በጀመረው ቀጥታ በረራ መደሰታቸውንና በሌሎች ጉዳዮችም ላይ ከዴንቨር ከተማ ጋር አብረው ለመስራት ያላቸውን መልካም ፈቃድ ገልጸዋል።
We are glad to open a new route connection Denver with
ከ130 በላይ መዳረሻዎች ያሉት የኢትዮጵያ አየር መንገድ ከዴንቨር አዲስ አበባ ቀጥታ በረራ በመጀመሩ ደስ ብሎኛል። ከሌሎች ከተሞች ጋር እንደምናደርገው የጋራ ተጠቃሚነት በሚያረጋግጡ የኢኮኖሚ፣ የማህበረሰብ ጤናና የቱሪዝም ዙሪያ ከዴንቨር ከተማ ጋር በጋራ ለመስራት ዝግጁ ነን።
with Denver City too.
የሁለቱ ከተማ አስተዳደር ከንቲባዎችና የካቢኔ አባላቱ በቀጣይ በትብብር በሚያከናውኗቸው የትብብር ስራዎች ዙሪያም ውይይት አድርገዋል። ከንቲባ ማይክል ቢ ሃንኮክ ውይይቱ ወደ ውጤት እንዲቀየር እንደሚሰሩም ተናግረዋል።
Find what moves you, what challenges you. Find your energy, ambition, and encouragement. Find your people and your happy place.
The first U.S. cabinet.
Okay, I will come back to the other news update on videos. So that's after the peace agreement between the central government and the Tigray region, you see opening. You see World Bank providing, money. UK urging other countries, to deal with Ethiopia, provide aid to Ethiopia, and now the engagement of Denver, Colorado delegation team with Addis Ababa, team, and the direct flight between Denver and Addis Ababa. This is also, I think, in addition to Atlanta to Addis Ababa, there is also direct flight from Atlanta to Addis Ababa. So, the peace is very essential for so many things. Very essential. War is the enemy of the growth. War is the enemy of the people. So, this will give hope for Ethiopians for re-engagement with the global community, get fund, get scholarship for our students, so many, and trade. So the opening is showing up some hope and encouragement, but we're still waiting for accountability for those UN investigation team to land in Tigray and other impacted areas. Hopefully, talk to the victims and come up with accountability, including the Prime Minister, Defense Minister, Eritrean Forces, Amara militia, Amara forces. There must be some accountability. Engagement, providing money for the people of Ethiopia, we are happy, but we are still waiting for accountability for the rape, for killing, extrajudicial killings, and so many other atrocities carried out during the 2-year war, and accountability for all gold taken from Tigray by Eritrean Forces, Amara militia, and others. So we're waiting for accountability. I know Abiy Ahmed and Tigrayan officials are reluctant in allowing those international investigation experts because they don't want any accountability. In both sides, I think there is less talk about that since the peace agreement is signed. Okay, let's continue with other news. Again, as I said, I have 3 more from Addis-Standard. I always appreciate I get English news update from this media, plus BBC and others. This is about Showa Robit City. Share first official image showing level of destruction in ongoing violence. Residents blame neglect of government. Yeah, there's a tough situation over there, especially on Wallo Oromos, coordinated attacks by Fano and Amara militia with recognition of regional government. The mayor's office of the Showa Robit City administration in the North Showa zone of the Amara regional state has last night shared several pictures this morning revealing the level of devastation and destruction caused as a result of the ongoing violence in area bordering the Jille Umuga district of Oromo Special Zone and the North Showa zone, the regional state. Residents of Kabale 05 of Showa Robit City reported that many lives were lost and properties have been destroyed in the violence, the city mayor's office said. The statement quoted the residents of 05 Kabale as saying that the neglect of the government and hesitation of the law enforcement is the reason for the loss of life and property destruction every year, and that the government should fulfill its responsibility to clean up the war and organize groups or forces operating in the area. Yes, the government purposefully, especially the regional government, purposefully ignore this violence and also finance, arm those forces to attack Wallo Oromos. We have been reporting, so many media have been reported on this issue, and the federal government also implicated, really. They are not acting to calm down this very serious, life-threatening situation. In addition to the loss of many lives, public schools, mills, health clinics, shops, Kabale administration offices, residence of Islamic religious leaders, and individual homes were completely destroyed and looted, the mayor's office further said. Although the security forces of the federal and the regional state government are making sacrifices in their effort to stop the attack, more efforts should be exerted to stop the ongoing attacks and the destruction of property before the morph into religious violence in nature. The attacks are carried out in an organized manner and with a mission to destroy the country, the administration cautioned. The image shared by the administration is the first image from the government office showing the level of the destruction in parts of the city. This week, Addis-Standard reported that dozens of civilians were already killed in the ongoing violence. Several houses are burned and properties looted and vandalized. The violence, which started on Saturday, 21st September. It has since spread to towns and the villages of the neighboring North Showa zone, including Showa Robit, as well as Ataye and Jawa towns in Efrate Gidim district. Amara Regional State Government said that federal police and the defense force were already deployed to the area alongside Amara Special Forces to restore peace and order. The regional state government said the violence flared up following an attack perpetrated against members of Amara Special Forces and the federal police forces stationed in Jawa Kabale of Ifratana Gidim district of North Shore Zone on Saturday at around 3 p.m. by anti-peace forces operating in the area. Who are these anti-peace forces? Why they don't call them by name? These are Amara militia and the Fano militia, well organized, financed, armed by regional government. You can hear from the people, Wallo, Oromos, their cry for help. But there is no one to help them really. The federal government is playing game, just like Abdi Ille time during TPLF administration. The same. This is the worst now under Abiy Ahmed. They just ignore it. They may be, thinking there is an advantage to gain from eliminating the Oromo, all Oromos in that region. This one is again from Addis Standard. This is about the crisis in education in Ethiopia. So many crises under Abiy Ahmed. He is still there because there is no challenge from Ethiopians. Despite so many failures under his leadership, he is still there. And maybe he wants more years to come. Let me read what it says about National School Leaving Exam results. Shocking. Shock many, as only 3.3% of students score above 50% university entrance mark. 3.3% just score more than 50%. This is a crisis, really. It's a very dangerous crisis. And it's going to kill the hope of future generation, really. Let me read what the report says. Ministry of Education has announced that out of a total of 896,520 students who sat for the National School Leaving Exam for the 2021-2022 academic year, only 29,909 scored above 50% in the exam result, announced by the Educational Assessment and Examination Service EAES on Thursday night. Only 30,000 approximately from 896,520 students. Only 30,000. That's crisis anyway. In a presser following the announcement of the result, Education Minister Brahanu Nagga said on Friday that out of the total 985,384 students registered for the exam, 77,098 were not present during the exam for several reasons, whereas exams for 20,170 students, including those who voluntarily walked out on the exam, were annulled on accounts of misconduct. This is another crisis. When 20,000 students walked out from the exam. According to the minister, the number of students who scored above 50% accounts only 3.3. A student scored below 50% will not be allowed to join public universities, according to Brahanu. But based on the university's admission capacity some will be accepted and it will be worked so that they can score results for the next year. He said the result is a manifestation of snowballing problems in the education sector and reflect the true status of the country's education quality, making the government and the education community responsible. Okay. The exams were administered in October 2022 for the first time inside universities and attended by university professors in a bid to avoid cheating and exam leaks, which had become a repeated pattern over past years. Despite the ministry calling the exam a success, it is to be recalled that a student was killed, many others, including examiners and security force, injured during the exams in a violence caused by a student in Debre Tabor University. The university claimed in a statement that the students were saying the campus didn't respect the exam system and are further accused them of rejecting the exams on the account that they couldn't copy from each other. Ministry of Education later said some 12,787 students who entered various university campuses in Amara Regional State voluntarily walked out on the exams following the violence. Prior to the exams, Addis-Denver reported about worries by some students following the announcement by the ministry that the exams would be held in the university campuses away from their families and school environment. In 2019, officials at the Ministry of Education had to respond to outraged students and parents across the country after the results of over 300,000 students who sat for the year's grade 12 university entrance exam were published, exhibiting massive irregularities, including shocking level of poor performance grades by thousands of students. So that is another failure of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed administration. This is a crisis for young generation. No hope. No hope. Not only for those failed, but the generation coming behind, the younger generation. So there is no dream. There is no hope for students when only 3%, 3.3% students are joining the university. This is a crisis, really. It's a very, very bad, and against the hope of the future generation in education, and is a might be a killing, very tough obstacle for the country's development. Education is a key for all sectors. So if our students are failing and not be able to pass to universities and the college, that's a crisis for the country. And as I said before, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed should consider resigning, really. I call upon him again, please give an opportunity to others to lead that country. You are failing the country in multiple fronts, whether in with inability to handle the crisis in that country, and the inflation, the war, ethnic tension. So you are not a leader, really. So if you know Alamayo Shete song, Tamar Lije, that's a hope. Education, please, God, advising his son to go to school, get education. That's a dream. Now that dream is closed under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. even if you are poor, if you manage to go to school, there is a hope in the future. But that hope is dying now. This is also another indication of crisis in that country. Unidentified gunmen kidnapped 20 workers of Dangote cement factory in West Showa Oromia region. Crisis after crisis. Unidentified gunmen have kidnapped 20 workers of Dangote cement factory located in Addis-Denver district in West Showa zone of Oromia region. A staff member of the company with the knowledge to the matter told Addis-Standard. According to the employee who spoke to Addis-Standard on the phone on condition of anonymity, the abduction happened on Thursday, 26 January at around 4:30 p.m. local time, while the workers were on duty to renovate a broken water pump station where the company obtained water for its production. The station is located some 25 kilometers away from Mugar town, a town where the manufacturing plant is located at. According to the witness, the gunmen kidnapped all workers at the duty station except one staff who passed out during the abduction and 2 security personnel. The company has not yet traced both the identity and the whereabouts of the kidnappers. The company has not yet released official statement on the kidnapping. This is the second kidnapping in as many weeks. In December last year, gunmen kidnapped 30 employees of the company who were traveling on a company bus in the same vicinity. The gunmen released the victims after the company had paid a ransom of between 100,000 to 200,000 Ethiopian birr for each victim, according to the witness. In 2018, Dangote cement factory country representative Deep Kamara and 2 Ethiopian employees were killed by the gunmen in the same locality. Following the tragic killing, the Ethiopian federal government and Oromia regional government promised to take all necessary steps to prevent such incidents in the future, adding that they were investigating to apprehend perpetrators of the crime, but no one has been held accountable for the killing. Always when something happens, they will say, we will investigate. That is a strategy to silence critics, to cool down the tension, whether on the killing of Hachalu Hundessa, Abdul Jabbar Hussein, the lawyer, the military general, the engineer. So many killings under Abiy Ahmed. No credible investigation carried out. No independent credible investigation carried out. No one is accounted for. In the case of Hachalu, those accounted for is fake, not the real killers. Not the real killers. I hope the parliament member, Dr. Angasa, he told he gonna reveal, but maybe he was threatened not to do so. But he said he knows who killed Hachalu Hundessa, and also OLA leader, Oromo Liberation Army leader, said he knows who killed Hachalu Hundessa. So we're just waiting maybe for the right time to announce. Here we go. These are from BBC, couple of them. The first one is Somalia jail wife of alleged local ICE affiliates leader. A Somalia military court has sentenced the wife of Abdul Qadir Mu'min, the alleged leader of the Islamic State's ICE local branch, to 8 years in prison for transferring money to the military group. State-owned Somali National TV has reported. The Armed Forces Court in Mogadishu on Monday handed an 8-year jail term to Fartoon Abdirashid, the wife of Abdul Qadir Mu'min, ICE terrorist leader in Somalia. She was found guilty of facilitating money transfer to the terrorists and sharing information, the TV station said. State media reported that she was arrested in March last year in Mogadishu and had been using multiple names to conceal her identity. Her husband, Mu'min, was previously a senior Al-Shabaab member but defected with dozens of fighters to ICE in 2015. He is reportedly based in the northeastern Puntland regional state. Last Wednesday, U.S. Special Forces killed a senior ICE member, Bilal al-Sudani, in northern Somalia. The last one for today from BBC. Here we go. Pope Francis head to DR Congo for landmark visit. Pope Francis is on Tuesday expected to land in the Democratic Republic of Congo, home to the largest Roman Catholic community in Africa, for a 3-day visit. It is more than 37 years since the previous Pope, John Paul II, visited the country when it was called Zaire. The authorities in the country have declared Wednesday a public holiday in the capital, Kinshasa, to allow Catholics to attend a mass led by Pope Francis at Ndolo Airport. Pope Francis has asked for prayers for the journey ahead of his departure. The pontiff will stay in Kinshasa until Friday before traveling to South Sudan's capital, Juba, where he will be joined by his Anglican counterpart, the Archbishop of Canterbury, and by the Church of Scotland moderator. However, there has been some controversy surrounding the Catholic leader's visit to Kinshasa. Some market workers in the city have been told to dismantle their stalls to make roads tidy before the Pope's arrival. This has left some people feeling aggravated. As a last one for today's reading, I have a couple of videos to share for today's update. Thank you again for joining me. Let's listen to those videos.
Member to visit Somalia since 2015 urged the world's donors on Sunday to give immediate help to a country facing deadly famine, which she described as the ultimate failure of the international community. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, heard perhaps the starkest warning yet about the crisis facing the Horn of Africa. Excess deaths during what is now Somalia's longest drought on record will almost certainly surpass those of the famine formally declared in the country in 2011, when more than 250,000 people died. Speaking in a meeting with the Somalian President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud, the U.S. ambassador said that while a famine had been averted the last time around, that efforts to fight it should be ramped up now in order to avoid such an incident in March, April this year. The drought in the Horn of Africa affects Somalia and neighboring Ethiopia and Kenya.
Shop Hollywood Beauty Store moving blowout sale on Kings Highway to save up to 60% off on all your favorite name brand beauty products for 3 weeks only. Shop gorgeous wig.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has called for Israel and Palestine to take urgent steps to restore calm amid escalating violence. Speaking in Jerusalem, he reiterated U.S. support for a two-state solution as the best way to bring safety to both sides.
That's why we're urging all sides now to take urgent steps to restore calm, to de-escalate. We want to make sure that there's an environment in which we can, I hope, at some point create the conditions where we can start to restore a sense of security for Israelis and Palestinians alike, which, of course, is sorely lacking.
Israel's growing tensions with Iran were also on the agenda. Tehran says Israel was behind a drone attack on a defense facility on Saturday. The Wall Street Journal and New York Times also quoted unnamed U.S. officials saying Israel was behind the attack, but the country hasn't commented.
My policy is to do everything within Israel's power to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them. And that will remain so. But obviously the fact that we and the United States are working together is something that is important for this common goal as well.
The Secretary of State started his Middle East visit in Egypt. The country's role as a region mediator has helped it remain a key U.S. partner. But as tensions escalate, analysts question what breakthroughs Blinken can achieve.
Okay, that's a tough region for U.S. Secretary of State to deal with it, and Benjamin Netanyahu came back to power, and I don't think he will listen to anybody, and he's very tough on Palestinians and promoting expansion to Palestinian lands. So just within a week, 9 or plus Palestinians killed, and also 7 Israelis killed in a synagogue attack. So very tough area, and the two-state solution is just a talk. Just a talk. They don't implement. Israel don't implement this two-state solution because they will have the opportunity. They will lose the opportunity to expand into Palestinian land if two-state solution internationally recognized border. That's it. It's very tough for them, and they want to use power and money and human resource, just keep expanding to Palestinian lands and continue the bombardment. That's their strategy. And the Arab countries, they are nothing at this time. They are not strong. They cannot force Israelis to stop the expansion. They can mediate to cool down and flare up again. Egypt is doing the same thing. They take too much money from the United States just to cool down the tension, not to solve the problem. That's a very serious problem, and they should start with a two-state solution, implementing the two-state solution immediately. Talk of two-state solution is not enough. It should be implemented, and the U.S. can do it if they want to. They can do it. They can pressure Israel to accept the two-state solution if they want. But the challenge is when election comes, Israel has huge influence. So nobody want to take a risk. That's a challenge. And other countries, the same thing. Nobody dare to challenge Israel and tell them enough is enough. Enough bloodshed in that region. So the global community should tell the Prosperity Party officials, including the Prime Minister, to be truthful when they are making announcements, whether the withdrawal of Eritrean forces from Tigray or other topics. Stop lying to Ethiopians and stop lying to the global community. Be truthful. Be truthful. Enough is enough. You lied multiple times. You misled Ethiopians and the global community. More than enough. More than enough. So they have to stop. And lastly, I would like to say, please be the voice for Wallo Oromos who are crying for help. They are cornered in that region. Well-coordinated forces are attacking them, and no protection from federal government or from Oromia regional government. That's a tough one. They've never been in such situation in Ethiopia. The Wallo Oromos never been in such. They have been defending themselves with the help of the central government, monitoring, controlling the situation. Now they are on their own. They are in a very tough situation. So please support them. They are in need of humanitarian aid, and they are also in need of your voice. Be the voice for them. So that's all I'm going to say for today. And thank you for joining me. Be safe. So long, everyone.